Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. My name is Jess and I like to sit around and talk about books. Today I'm going to do my January wrap-up along with my February TBR, because why not join the two? So first off, I'm going to talk about the books that I read in January. I'm really excited. I read 3 books. I'm in halfway through another one that I was really trying to finish for the month of January, but unfortunately, I did not have the time to finish it. I could have finished it yesterday, which today is actually February 1st, so happy February. I could have finished it yesterday, but I had things came up, life, and sometimes you just can't get through a book no matter how hard you try. So first off, I'm gonna start off with the first book I read in January, which I've talked a little bit about in here because it came up in my January TBR, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about it, and that is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stefan Chbosky. Chbosky? I should have looked up how to say that. But anyways, this book is about a boy who is a wallflower. Basically, he just kind of sticks to himself and doesn't really talk to many people. He has had a rough going in life so far, basically. And he ends up going to high school and making a group of new friends. And in this group of new friends, he kind of gets to know himself, but also kind of gets to know his past a little bit more. It's a little bit more defined and explained, and he kind of learns a little bit more about people and how people work and all of those things, while also, just making new relationships and becoming a grown high schooler. I was gonna say middle schooler for some reason. This book is also a great movie, but if you have watched the movie before, I definitely recommend checking out the book, even if you've already watched the movie, because this book explains a lot more of the background of what's going on with each character, and also kind of the same character. You kind of get to know him a little bit better. So when you watch the movie, it makes a lot more sense. Like my best friend Triana, hi Triana, this is her favorite movie, and so because of her, we were like, why don't we check out the book, for our book club with me and my friends, or my friends and I. And even she was like, it's like watching a whole different movie. Keep in mind, she's watched this movie over 1 billion times. And reading the book just made her look at this movie in a completely different way. So I definitely recommend for you guys to pick up this book and to check it out before, or even if you have read or have watched the movie, just because it's so good. Like, I'm telling you, it's so good, and it's really easy to read. So if you're like, I am not a reader, I am not an avid long book reader, this is a short book, and it's easy to read. It's written in like letter form, so it's pretty easy to get through. At least for me. Usually those are easier for me to get through. Overall, I gave this, I think, a 4-star. 3 or 4-star, I'm not positive. But I would give it a 4-star right now. Right now, at this moment, February 1st, if I was to rate this book, I would give it a 4-star. Just because it was great. And it was better than movie. And even though I had watched the movie before, it didn't ruin the book for me. You know what I mean? Like, the book was still... Anyways. Next book is a book... I'm not gonna say the author's name because there's a lot of controversy and people don't like her. So, and everyone's gonna know who she is. Harry Potter. This one is in the Chamber of Secrets. This is the second one in the sequel. I am reading, I think I've mentioned this before, I have never read the Harry Potter series before all the way through. I had only read the first book before. So I have made it my mission to sit through and read all of these books, try to get through them this year. Because my husband really enjoys them, and he was like, you need to read these books. And now we're waiting for me to finish them so we can watch the movies. So yeah, I overall really enjoyed this. Definitely wasn't as good as the first one. I'm going to say that, and we are going to just live with that and move on, okay? Yeah, I think everyone knows Harry Potter. Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets. Gave this, I think, a 3-star, 2 or 3-star, around there. But right now, in this day, February 1st, if I were to rate it, I would probably rate it a 2-star, honestly. It didn't impact me that much. But if I was to rate the audiobook, girl, I think what's made me love this book, or this series so far, which I've only read 2 of the 7 books, is the audiobook. Because the man who reads it, I need to find out his name. And I actually looked up his name because I want to know who it is, and I just never remember to like remember. But he is such a good narrator. Like, I definitely recommend it. Even if you have kids, like, put it on for your kids. This man is so good. He does every single voice of like all of the people, and he makes it really, I don't know, he paints a whole scene. He makes you feel really like in the book, and it's, yeah, I recommend the audiobook 100%. Okay, another book that I also recommend the audiobook to, and the final book I read this month, is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I read this for our book club. This was our book for January that we still haven't discussed because people have not finished the book in the book club. I finished it though. This book, I have a whole vlog on it if you are wondering my journey through this amazing book. If I were to rate this, which I did not rate it on Goodreads, if I were to rate this, I would rate it probably a 5, 7, 100 stars. It was so great. It was so perfect. I'm not much of a like memoir person. Like, I've read a few memoirs and like they're good, but like I wouldn't reach for them again, or I wouldn't like say that it was my favorite book to read. Like, I kind of got bored, to be completely honest. But this book, with or without the audiobook, was a really good read. It was I don't know if it was just because I related, like I lived through this whole presidency and through a lot of these historical moments, but just kind of seeing the behind the scenes of the presidency was really interesting to me. And also not from a president perspective. Do you know what I mean? Seeing the behind the scenes from a first lady perspective was really eye-opening, and her not trying to sugarcoat things, and her just being straight up, and also just learning so much about her, like, and the way she was raised, how school went for her. Like, it really opened my eyes to see how, like, she was loved by a lot of people. They were also not very well liked, but for the loved people, us people who really, really loved and admired this family, and specifically Michelle Obama as a first lady, this book makes you admire her and love her and understand her so much more. Like, it's like, if you love her and you're like right here, you're like, yes, she's the best, she will like blow your mind about how great she is, because this woman went through a lot during the presidency, and just being a mother, like, of such young kids during being in the spotlight like that, I couldn't even imagine. But it was really, really well put together. Like, I liked how she would kind of fill you in with things, you know, like she'd say something that's going on, and then she would kind of continue on with the story, but then she would come back to make sure you understand what was going on behind the scenes, or in the background, or meanwhile things were going on in not just the country but in her life. So it's really good, really, really good. I so recommend it. It was amazing. So that was it for the books that I actually read this month. And I was gonna do 2 different videos for this, but then I was like, you know what? I only read 3 books. Let me go ahead and just share the books that I plan on reading this month, February. So let me show you. First book is, I'm actually halfway through, and like I said, I really wanted to finish this so it could be in this wrap up, but unfortunately life got in the way and I did not have time to finish it. But that is Undocumented Americans by Carla Cornejo Villavicencio. This book is it's a nonfiction book about different stories of different immigrants living in the United States and going through a lot of historical events and the way that the immigrant or migrant community, the Latinx community, well, not even just Latinx, like just immigrant community in general, but mainly focusing on the Latinx community, immigrant community, how they impacted all of those different things, like the 9/11, like Flip Michigan, just different things that went on in the United States, and basically behind the scenes, you could say, or things that people did not talk about during those things that were going on. Like, they were overlooked, they were taken advantage of, they were exploited, and it just doesn't talk about that. It just talks about their lives in general. So different things that every different family will go through. And this also is not necessarily DACA supported families. So some of these people are genuinely just immigrants who a lot of them don't qualify for DACA, or a lot of them can't, or scared to get DACA. A lot of them, it's just so much. So I think that's what made me pick this book up. It was because it was real stories of real people that weren't necessarily in this DACA box that the United States only really shows. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really show all the other immigrants that are living here that have absolutely and completely no government support whatsoever. And she decided to write about a lot of people like that. Some of them, a lot of people that didn't receive DACA. So it goes both ways. And really write about their stories and the way they lived their life. And also, she is herself I think she's a DACA, or she was a DACA recipient, and so she's lived through this. So it's also partially her life and her story. So it's really interesting to read. I 100% recommend this to every single person in this world, to just get a little better understanding of how hard it really is to be an immigrant in a country, in any country, to like try to, you know, not fit in, but like familiarize yourself with this new lifestyle and this new way of living. It's really, really good. She obviously changed the names of a lot of people so they wouldn't, you know, get in trouble with the law. But she definitely wrote, like, it's just story after story after story. They are a bit heavy, and just an FYI, but I definitely related to a lot of these stories, growing up and seeing my parents and family members going through basically some of the same exact things that went on in this book, sadly. And she also, side note, she was also raised a Jehovah's Witness, which I was as well. So she kind of makes a few connections back to that, and it just hits close to home because, you know, we were both just raised that way, and that's just the way we saw life, and we're told life was supposed to be lived, I guess. So it was really nice to see not only just an immigrant perspective, which was similar to mine, but also what's it called, religious kind of background similar to mine as well. But yeah, you guys should definitely check this out. I'm trying to read one Latinx author a month at least. So that was supposed to be for January, but I fucked up and started too late. So yeah, we're moving on now. Coffee. This is the next book I want to read in February. It's, hopefully I can get through it. It looks pretty easy. It's a graphic novel called A Friendly Game, and it is by different people. So let me just read it in here because it tells you which each person does. Ooh, okay. Original concept and penciling, Joe Pimienta. Writing, ink, and letters by Lindsay Hornsby. Tones, Lauren Afe. And special guest lettering by James Hornsby. So this book is about friends, these two guys, and they have some sort of game going on, and I guess one of them gets a little bit too invested, and it gets a little bit too dangerous, and the other one is kind of struggling with, do I keep this friendship going and help out my homie, or should I stop and try to stop him from hurting people? I guess that's kind of what it made me think of, like, when I was reading this book. So I don't know 100% if that's true, but that's kind of sort of where this story goes. I got this at a comic book shop that I was at like 2 days ago, and I was like, oh my god, I have to check this out. It looks so good. But yeah, graphic novel. The pictures look super cool, so I'm really excited to check this one out. And hopefully get that one done in February. Now, next book. Harry Potter. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm just trying to get through these Harry Potter books, man. I'm just trying to get through these Harry Potter books. This is the third one, and hopefully I can get through it. I am waiting for my sisters to catch up, so we'll see if I do end up reading this in February, but I'm gonna try to at least start it. Yeah, so I'm really excited to check this one out. Hopefully it's not a letdown. Next few books that I'm going to talk about are going to be very, very February. I am a big fan of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day makes me happy. It makes me feel joyous. Even when I was single, okay? Even when I was a single person and I was not married and I was not looking for anyone, and you could say I was like a bitter single person who was like, wah, I want a boyfriend. But anyways, even before that, I always enjoyed Valentine's Day, especially because when I was younger, Valentine's Day was very much put into my mind, since I went to a bilingual school, that it's not just for boyfriend and girlfriends. It is to show your friendship appreciation too, and your love between your friends. So we used to do a lot of like friend exchanges growing up. We used to do like Secret Valentine, kind of like Secret Santa, but obviously for Valentine's Day with your friends, and you would just get each other cute little heart-shaped things, little stuffed animals, just to show each other that you care about your friends, you know? So I get really involved or really excited when love starts to approach. It is also my mother-in-law's birthday, which usually makes it so that we celebrate her birthday and not really Valentine's Day, but still, it's a holiday, so it's exciting. First off, you cannot do a Valentine's Day TBR without a little bit of Nicholas Sparks, right? Right? So I want to read At First Sight by Nicholas Sparks. I'm really excited. I have read a couple of his other very popular books, but I picked this up at a thrift store and I was like, let's do it. Next book is a book from Book of the Month. It's The Dating Plan, and this is a story about two people who they get fake engaged, and throughout their fake engagement they end up falling in love, which to me, that is my, what do they call it, bread and butter of stories. I love those kind of stories. The fake engagement then turns to love stories are like my favorite. I've watched so many movies like that. Actually, one of my favorite movies is called My Fake Fiance, with the people that were in Melissa and Joey, and I think their names are Melissa and Joey. That is like my favorite movie. It's so funny, and this, when I read this, it reminded me of that, and I was like, I have to get this. Like, I actually paid extra for another book this month for January because I was like, I need this book. I'm not gonna not get it. So yeah, the Dating Plan. I'm really excited to read that one. I'm probably gonna start that one next. We'll see. Next book, I've talked about it a lot. Your girl has talked about it a lot. So I'll be quick and easy and fast. This is Red, White, and Royal Blue. This is a queer love story between two guys. It's a love to hate. It's a hate to love. So they don't like each other at first, and then they are forced to spend time together, and I guess throughout that time they begin to get feelings for each other, and I guess understand each other a little bit more. So yeah, I started rereading this again recently, so I'm like a couple chapters in, which is where I was when I stopped reading this, so pretty much the same. All I know about it, but I'm really excited. I don't know why this reminds me of reading a fanfic, and it's very nostalgic to me. So if you used to like to read fanfics and you're like, I wish I could read fanfics again, but I want to read like a good one, you know, like, because there are a lot out there that, girl, girl. Anyways, this one is a similar feeling to that, but obviously really well written and really well put together. So I definitely recommend it. And if you are looking for some fanfics to read, you should look up Drews_Dreamer on Wattpad. And I have some 5 Seconds of Summer, Emblem 3, a couple of stories on either one of them. So yeah, if you really like, I really just want to read about boy bands or just bands in general, go ahead and check my Wattpad out. I guess I'll link it down below. This is kind of weird to talk about. I literally just do it for fun, and they're really bad. That was it for this TBR part of the video. So if you read any of these books before and you recommend me start with any specific one, or if you read any of the books that I read last month, go ahead and leave that comment down below and what you think about it, or which one I should start with in this month, even though I'm already halfway through one of them. Yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and make sure you guys like and leave that comment down below, and also subscribe and hit the bell so we can hang out again and talk about more books, because it's so fun. Okay, it's fun. And I'll see you guys next week. I started uploading every Wednesday, so if you subscribe and hit that bell, usually every Wednesday morning, you will have a new video from me. So hopefully I'll see you again next Wednesday. Bye.